I need you guys to know that it is taking every fiber of my being to not do Friends reunion trailer breakdown part 2 today. It's really all I want to talk about anymore. And I do see your guys' comments, mostly you, Todd, in last episode yesterday and here about how Friends is like the epitome of white privilege and all of that. And to that, I have to say, then call me privileged. I don't even care. I don't even care. If you don't like Friends and it's not for you, that is totally your prerogative. Leave me be. Leave me fucking be. Every show from the 90s is problematic. Every single one of them. Let me live my life. But we're not talking about that today. What are we talking about today live at the Roxy on this May 20th of 2021? Well, I saw that Kate Hudson was cast in Knives Out 2. And that seems to me to kind of solidify that this is one of the greatest casts of all time. If you are not in Knives Out 2, then are you a star? Maybe not. So I was thinking about what are the actual best movie casts of all time. And I wanted to kind of have that conversation on the show today. And actually not even kind of have that conversation on the show today, just straight up have that conversation on the show today, because there's a lot of incredible movie casts. And I was looking up some lists of people who think that X, Y, and Z are the greatest movie cast. And I was like, I don't know if that even competes with Knives Out 2. So is this the best movie cast of all time? Was the first Knives Out the best movie cast of all time? Or is it really more like some kind of movie like He's Just Not That Into You or New Year's or whatever it is that those big-ass movies are? We'll talk about it here today live at the Roxy. Also, on top of Kate Hudson joining the cast of Knives Out 2, we've got some big casting news for Hocus Pocus 2. It's the day of the sequels. We wanted to know if SJP, Bette Midler, and Kathy Najimy, I always fuck up her last name, Kathy Najimy. I think that's right. Najimy. Sounds weird. We're coming back for Hocus Pocus 2, and they are. That was officially announced today, so that's exciting. Also, CNN's on my shit list today. Not only did Chris Cuomo have several phone calls trying to help brother Andrew Cuomo strategize against his misconduct allegations, but also they had somebody employed for the last 8 years until this week who was tweeting things like, I actually don't even want to say them on the internet, but tweeting pro-Hitler things. So that, and also today is Mental Health Action Day. And with the last thing I just said and all the other things that are going on in the world, it's very essential. It is key that we talk about Mental Health Action Day and the actions that we take place to protect our mental health, which without it, we've got fucking nothing. So that is the show for today. And plus whatever it is that you guys want to talk about, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, super chat in, all that good stuff. I don't know what's been going on with the tubes of you recently, but heyo, it's strange to not have all the rock stars in here all the time. I miss you guys who have been missing the show. I will say we haven't heard from Texas Teacher or LD in a while. Yesterday I heard from Avery, and Avery said that her dad, Chris Burke, is in the ICU, and she tweeted at me from his account. I hope that he is okay. I don't know what's going on. I asked and I didn't hear back yet. So sending love, bunnies to Avery and her father. They're a favorite father-daughter duo on the show. They've been following along from, I feel like, day one. And we know that Avery had received some good news with casting recently. And I'm just thinking about Chris and hoping that he is all right. I know he had been struggling with some health issues earlier on in the year. And so here, just sending bunnies and hugs and thoughts to them. And I'll keep you guys posted if I know more. I know that there's a lot of rock stars who are not here every day because they're getting back to work. So that's a good reason to not be here. And they watch on the replay. So for whatever reason, I know that as life kind of gets back to norm, people have things going on. There are people who are sick. There are people who are well. There are people who are out and about. There are people who have jobs. There are people who are trying to get jobs. And I'm thinking about each and every one of you guys, no matter what state that you are in. mentally and otherwise. So bunnies and hugs to Chris and Avery, and hoping that everything is okay with them over there. Let's start in the Streamlabs and see what it is that you guys are talking about. I would love to hear from you guys who are at, I was going to say at home, but I don't know. Maybe you're at work just watching the show. You can watch it from the park. You can watch it from a tree. You can watch it from the toilet. It got weird. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Yesterday after the show. Oh, no, maybe this was during. Nope. Okay, today before the show, Rob Fishbeck said, saw the title, cool topic, offhand, top 5 ensemble casts in films would be number 1, The Godfather, number 2, Ocean's 11, 2001 version. I think there's only one Ocean's 11. They all have different numbers. Number 3, Nashville, the 1975 film. Number 4, The Big Short. Oh, interesting. Number 5, it's a mad world, the original version of Rat Race. I love Rat Race. Rat Race is a top one for me as well. Rob, cool ones. I definitely can't wait to talk about this and hear from you guys. Send in your Streamlabs about what your favorite movie casts are. Glenn Caesar also, says, this is the first time we're hearing from Glenn today. Glenn Caesar says, hello and good afternoon, Roxy, and all your nicknames, just sending Thursday well wishes. And thank you for still taking the time to hang out. Peace, bunnies, hugs, and good stuff to you. Grammy and Papo, be most excellent to yourselves and each other, Roxy and Rockstars. I'm getting dinner with them tonight. It was supposed to be lunch, and then my uncle called me today and asked if we could change dinner, and then I moved my schedule around to change it to dinner, and then he called me back and he said, can we change it to lunch? And then I moved my schedule around, and it just kept going back and forth. And we were talking yesterday. I don't know where things were lost in translation, but we are getting dinner at 5 o'clock tonight, so can't wait to see my uncle. He leaves tomorrow, which is fucking gutting, because then it all goes back to me, and I'll miss him. But I am happy to be able to see Grammy and Papo and him for dinner. Glenn also says, cheers to fuck yeah news, love and laughter for us all in each of our days, our weeks, our months, and even our years. Let's go Smets. And everyone fighting for today, tomorrow, and more. Smash cancer all the time. I hope you find what brings you joy and do it. Thank you, Glenn. I know what brings me joy. I wish I got the opportunity to do it more often, but I got to make those opportunities. Glenn also says Miles Cosgrove, Brett Hankison, Jonathan McInerney, rest of the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. All 3 of them for killing Breonna Taylor. Hope today is the day. Justice for all the people who've lost their lives due to excessive force. Hashtag say their names. RJ and everyone who shows up to give their support whenever, however they can when it gets tough, even by yourself. You're not alone. Everyone who's battling, keep on fighting. You're a winner. You're kind. You're smart. You're unique. Showing up for people who need it and want it makes you dope as fuck. Being so unselfishly loving and supportive of others, including strangers, whether it's on the internet or not, makes you humane and worthy. Your story is important, deserves to be seen and heard. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you a lot and appreciate those kind words. Apollo 3 JP in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer says that Cuomo news is fucked. Totally. We'll be talking about it on the show. That said, we got to stop pretending like the legacy media isn't corrupt across the board. Sean Hannity and Don Lemon, same intent, opposite ends of the spectrum. You and I agree on some things and disagree on others. Plus, Cuomo always looks like he needs to go to the bathroom. Bet. What a weird fucking thing to think about. I've never looked at him and thought that. Although I honestly, until this year, I think it even happened on air. I didn't even know that Chris Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo, I didn't even know that was Chris Cuomo. I didn't know what his name was. And then I didn't know that Chris Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo were brothers. And now that I do know, you can't ignore it. We'll be talking about that in a little bit, but that's not as fun to talk about. So we're going to talk about some fun shit to start. Let's start with movie cast. Starting with, of course, the Knives Out casting that we got today. And this is really driven by you guys. Let me know, what is your favorite movie cast of all time? What do you think is the best movie cast of all time? What do you think the biggest movie cast of all time is? The Knives Out casting was pretty massive today. Not because Kate Hudson is any bigger than any of the other people who were cast, because really, Kate Hudson is, they're all huge. But I feel like Kate Hudson is OG talent. Like Janelle Monáe is more up and coming and still a huge, massive star. Catherine Hahn, I feel like even though she's been performing for so long, she's super hot in the news right now because of WandaVision. Daniel Craig was already attached to this. Dave Bautista has been a huge star for a really long time, but he is definitely like of more, unless you're a big fan of wrestling, he's definitely more up and he's more huge since all of his Marvel stuff with Guardians. So that's in this past decade. And I feel like Ed Norton and Kate Hudson both are cut from the same cloth, where Kate Hudson is like Hollywood royalty. Her parents are OG, like just so fucking. She is born into fame, became massively famous. I mean, I don't know that there is a bigger child of two celebrities, with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. You know, this is like, she is born into this. She's been performing her whole fucking life. I mean, Almost Famous was over 2 decades ago. It was 21 years ago that she was Almost Famous, or any of those movies, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days of 2003. You know, she's been on the map forever, and she is a huge star. And so adding her to this already stacked cast, it just keeps solidifying that this is one of the greatest casts that we've ever seen. Interestingly enough, when you go to look at Knives Out on IMDb, there's a Knives Out 3 that is slated right now too. And the only person attached to Knives Out 3 is Daniel Craig. So, and Rian Johnson. So that's interesting as well. But it's no surprise that Knives Out 2 has a great cast. Knives Out was received incredibly well. And it also was stacked with Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Don Johnson, Toni Collette, Lakeith Stanfield, Christopher Plummer. Oh my God, I forgot about some of this. Catherine Langford. Wow, this cast was hooked the fuck up. Ana de Armas. And so, again, a really excellent fucking cast. So it made me, of course, start thinking, what are the best casts of all time? Now, when I went to Google what are the best casts of all time, and again, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, make a pitch, make a case for why the movie that you think has the best cast of all time has the best cast of all time. The number one thing, this is coming from a list of the top 10s. The number one cast on this list was The Departed. And I don't even think of it's so weird because there's so many movies that I feel like have a lot of those dudes in them that I don't think about The Departed as being the stellar cast. But when you actually think about it, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Alec Baldwin, Martin Sheen. Holy shit. Stacked on stacked on stacked on stacked. It's a really fucking sick cast of a bunch of white dudes, but still, it's a really fucking stacked cast. The one that they put second on this list was Return of the King, and that I really don't agree with. It's not that the actors are not ridiculously talented, but when I think of like the most famous casts of all time, I really don't think about this movie. So Sean Astin, Sean Bean, Cate Blanchett, Orlando Bloom, Ian McKellen, Viggo Mortensen, Liv Tyler, Elijah Wood, Ian Holm, Hugo Weaving, Miranda Otto, Dominic Monaghan. I mean, those are some really fucking huge names. But I don't know why when it comes to like the fantasy genre, and a lot of those people I feel like were made way bigger by that movie, not that they were cast as huge stars and then put in that movie. Does that make sense? Russell Amador, hey Russell, happy to have you here. Says more stacked cast, Knives Out 1 or 2. Such a great question. We don't know everybody who's going to be cast in Knives Out 2. So I have to say, at this point, at the rate they're going, I think Knives Out 2 is going to be the more stacked cast. Because in Knives Out 1, we've got Chris Evans, who I guess if you're going to compare him to his other MCU counterpart, Dave Bautista, Chris Evans is the more famous one. Daniel Craig is in both. But for the women in this cast, Toni Collette, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Ana de Armas, I think the most famous of them is Jamie Lee Curtis. And in Knives Out 2, we've got Kate Hudson, who I think is more famous, and then Janelle Monáe and Catherine Hahn. So I think that definitely rivals. And then Ed Norton is huge. So I think that Ed Norton probably would be, in comparison to like a Michael Shannon, Ed Norton is more famous. So I think it's more stacked in terms of fame, not in terms of talent, though, because I mean, both of these casts are just fucking ridiculously talented. How do you claim that one of these casts is more talented than the other when every member of these casts is talented? Jake Yacovetta in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar says The Departed. Yeah, totally. I wonder if you wrote that before I said that. Leo, Matt, Jack Nicholson, Wahlberg, Martin Sheen, Vera Farmiga, from I always fuck that up too, Farmiga, Anthony Anderson. Sorry that I suck at names. Alec Baldwin, etc. I like the etc. on that one. And then Jake also says, well, you beat me to The Departed, LOL. So lucky number 11. Josh Hartnett. Where the fuck is Josh Hartnett? He was so good in, what was it, Penny Dreadful? Where the fuck's he been? Bruce Willis, Lucy Liu, William Freeman, Ben Kingsley, Stanley Tucci, Mykelti Williamson, etc. Do I know who that is? Who is Mykelti? Mykelti. Oh, of course. It's Bubba. Maybe it's just pronounced Michael T. And that's why I'm not thinking of it. Y'all know the name's Thang. Ain't no thang but a chicken wang. What do you guys think? Who is the best cast of all time? Streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar, super chat in. Going down this list, the next cast that they name is Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think that this cast aged particularly well, just in terms of the biggest star power being Johnny Depp. And it seems like his legacy is going to be majorly tampered. But Jeffrey Rush, Keira Knightley, and Orlando Bloom are also all three huge, massive stars. So, it's pronounced Michael, and that's how his name is spelled. Thank you, guys. That makes more sense. Cool. Cool when you fuck things up on air. Cool. Then they put The Outsiders at number 4. This is one of my favorite books growing up. The movie is really great, but again, it's a lot of dudes. It's a lot of dudes. Matt Dillon, Ralph Macchio, Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise, Diane Lane. Heyo. I got to rewatch that movie. It was really good. Making this list also, which is no surprise to me, but again, you have to think about when people are cast, what it was. The Avengers. The Avengers is one of the most stacked casts of all time. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, Samuel L. Jackson. Now, Robert Downey Jr. was Robert Downey Jr. before Marvel. However, his career was kind of not thriving because of all the shit that had gone on in his life. Chris Evans was certainly not the same. I mean, going into this, it wasn't like he was A-list celeb, Chris Evans. Chris Hemsworth, we didn't know the Hemsworths well. Mark Ruffalo, I think that this was a big break for him. ScarJo, she was big, but this is the biggest thing she's ever done. Renner, the only one who clearly was massive before. Samuel L. Jackson was massive before this, but it's still a stacked cast, despite whether they got stacked. It was stacked looking back on it, or if they were stacked at the time. And a lot of superhero movies are like this. When you are casting for superhero movies, sometimes when you're casting superheroes, you're casting people who are less known. Like if you're looking over in Camp DC, can you say casting Gal Gadot makes a stacked cast when beforehand she was not a household name? Most people didn't know her. Henry Cavill before Superman was not a household name. Most people didn't know him. The Ray Fisher, not a household name. Most people didn't know him. Ezra Miller, a little more famous, but most people didn't know him. The only person that was really known is Ben Affleck. And so does that make it a stacked cast in terms of celebrity power or not? So you guys let me know. Go into the Streamlabs, send in the Streamlabs. What is the best cast of all time, the biggest cast of all time, the most stacked cast of all time? Streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. I want to hear your case for the movie that you pick. This also talks about Ocean's 12. I think that this is a really great example of stacked casts. I know that Rob had said Ocean's 11. All the Ocean's movies are completely fucking stacked. And they're stacked with stars who are stars prior to them getting the movie. Brad Pitt, Catherine Zeta-Jones, George Clooney, Julia Roberts. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's some huge people. Don Cheadle, Bernie Mac. It's just a ridiculously stacked movie. And I think a lot of heist movies are able to do this. Superhero movies are able to do this. Heist movies are able to do this. Movies that make a lot of that dough. But that's why it's so interesting that Knives Out is so stacked, because it isn't one of those movies. Well, I guess, would you call, it's not a heist movie, but it is a mystery. It's a murder mystery film. I mean, I can't think of a murder mystery movie that has a more stacked cast than Knives Out. Is it the most stacked murder mystery movie that we've ever had? Let me know what you guys think. And just send in support. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Would love to hear from you guys at home. For me, I love these movies that are like, okay, one of the movies I thought of immediately when I thought about this was Crazy Stupid Love. I love movies like this where it's all different love stories or things going on at once, and then we kind of come together. Another one being Love Actually. But staying on Crazy Stupid Love, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Julianne Moore, Emma Stone. I mean, those are some huge, huge hitters. Joey King, Marissa Tomei, some really massive stars. And then you've got people like, when you scroll into the cast, it's even way deeper, and you've got Josh Groban. There's just recognizable faces everywhere. Wow, I didn't realize that Dan Fogelman wrote Crazy Stupid Love. God, I fucking love him. Manipulate my emotions. This is what I'm always telling you. But I love that movie. I also love Love Actually, which has a pretty stacked cast within itself. Hugh Grant, Liam Neeson, Laura Linney, Colin Firth, Emma Thompson. You know, we've got a lot of big stars. Andrew Lincoln, who wasn't as successful at that time, but really, really blew the fuck up afterwards. Keira Knightley, just a ton of big fucking stars in that movie. And then there's the movies like He's Just Not That Into You. This one also has a stacked cast. It's these movies, what do you call this type of movie where all the stories are taking place at once and then somehow they all kind of tie in together? Jennifer Goodwin, Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Connelly, all the Jens. Those are pretty big names. Oh, I kind of remember there being more people in this movie than what I just named. Oh yeah, on the cover it says more. Ben Affleck, Drew Barrymore. How could I not say my girl Drew first? Kevin Conley, Bradley Cooper, ScarJo, Justin Long. That's a pretty fucking yoked out cast as well. Wow, on IMDb they must list in order of appearance or something, because no, it's sorted by credit order. Wow, that is so weird. People are not credited until deep into that fucking film. I do not understand the IMDb on this one. And then wasn't there that movie New Year's? Am I forgetting the name of it? I feel like that's what it was called. It was called like New Year's Eve. Yeah. Sarah Jessica Parker, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jessica Biel, Ashton Kutcher, Zac Efron. Pretty fucking big names. Robert De Niro, Halle Berry, Carrie Elwes, Common, Alyssa Milano, Seth Meyers, Sarah Paulson. Wow. Fucking huge cast on that movie. I don't even remember the movie, but I remember it being like star power like fucking crazy. You know these movies where you look at the cover and it's just like person after person. Oh, it's blurry for you guys. Focus. Camera, focus. You can do it. I know you can. Well, only when I hold it back here. But it's just all of those celebs. All of those huge, huge celebs. So let me know what you guys think before we move on from this, because I love to hear, what is your favorite cast? What is the most stacked cast? Streamlabs. And maybe y'all. Okay, seeing from you guys. JB says, how the West was one. Okay, so How the West was one. Oh, it looked like one end. How the West was one, and any Robert Altman movie has the all-time best cast. How the West was one. Who's in that? How the West was one. Okay, from 1962. I definitely saw this in school. James Stewart, John Wayne, Gregory Peck, Henry Fonda. Wow, damn. I mean, that's pretty fucking legit. I like that you're bringing up old school movies because that's a hugely stacked cast. Hitman Hudson in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer says, for the most stacked movie cast ever, A Few Good Men comes to mind. Yeah, definitely. That's a really good one. Lincoln comes to mind. Lincoln. Let me think. When I think of Lincoln, I really only think of Daniel Day-Lewis. Who is in the cast? Sally Field, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, James Spader, Tommy Lee Jones. Okay. All right. Tim Blake Nelson. Yep. Some big hitters here. Jeremy Strong. I don't remember Jeremy Strong in that movie. Fucking love Jeremy Strong. Also, Hitman Hudson said, the Ocean's movies come to mind. Totally. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood comes to mind. Ooh, that's a very recent one. But yes, The Dark Knight comes to mind. The Dark Knight was on a lot of lists as well. I think that The Dark Knight is got a lot of huge people, but we really only concentrate on like 4 characters in that movie. But yes, Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, Aaron Eckhart, Michael Caine, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Gary Oldman, Morgan Freeman, Cillian Murphy. Gosh, I love Cillian Murphy. I love The Dark Knight. We should watch that every day. Jake Yacovetta in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/RoxyStar says, even though it's one of the worst fucking movies ever made, movie 43 had one of the most stacked casts I've ever seen. Movie 43. All right, I got to be reminded by this. Movie 43. Let's see. Movie 43 came out in, I feel like I've heard this on a lot of people's worst ever list. In 2013, it was R-rated, and it's a series of interconnected stories that of short films followed a washed-up producer as he pitches insane storylines featuring some of the biggest stars. Emma Stone, Stephen Merchant, Richard Gere, Liev Schreiber, Dennis Quaid, Greg Kinnear, Common in a lot of these big movies. Seth MacFarlane, Hugh Jackman, Kate Winslet. I do not remember this. Wow, who is this girl that looks exactly like the Olsen twins? Anna Madigan. This girl looks like she could be Elizabeth, Mary-Kate and Ashley's twin. Elizabeth is the sister, but yes. It sucked, Jake? Oh, and then you put the IMDb right here. Too many to list. Holy shit. Yeah, damn. How don't I know this movie? It was before I got really into this space. Glenn Caesar in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/RoxyStar says, by the way, Roxy, it was fuck yeah news, at least for me to hear you say that Only Stupid Answers is coming back tomorrow. Hell yeah. Yank out the vowels from stupid. I'm not sure about best cast ever, but I love Almost Famous. Always watch when it's on. Almost Famous is great. Yeah, Kate Hudson, congratulations to her on being cast in this, because I feel like she gets forgotten about sometimes, and she's a really phenomenal actress. Only Stupid Answers is coming back tomorrow, and I'm very excited about it. I've been texting with DJ all day. All day, every day. Garth Harkness McMurray in the Streamlab says, Avengers Endgame, Ocean's 11, 1960. Oh, with Sinatra. Wow. That's what we were talking about, Rob. I done fucked that up. The Rat Pack and nope. And having to open this up more. Angie Dickinson, The Longest Day, 1962. John Wayne, Robert Mitchum, Richard Burton, Sean Connery, Henry Fonda. Damn. Red Buttons, Peter Lawford, Robert Wagner. A lot of old school movies, because there was less really famous people, and then they would just like join together. That's really cool. That's I definitely want to go back. One of the things I miss being in film school is that I was forced to go watch movies that I'm not just casually putting on like stupid ass shit that I put on now because I'm like, all right, what's this movie? Let's check it out. And when I took a Westerns class, and then you have to go back and watch like 15 Westerns, and they all span through all of time. I wish I was forcing myself to go do this more, because I love old school movies. I'm always having to watch what's current so I can talk about it. But I love that you guys are bringing those up for great casting. Andrew Thomas in the super chat says, hey to the most beautiful Roxy. I don't know about today. And I'm in my dad's massive ass sweatshirt. X-Men Days of Future Past and the MCU has the best movie cast. X-Men does, and Days of Future Past, it just combines so many of the different worlds. Pretty fucking stacked ass cast, if you ask me. You always think about how crazy it is that they are able, and the reason is because of a dumpster truck of money, but they are able to get everybody scheduled together enough to get all these massive A-list people, massive people, to be on the same schedule. It's kind of crazy. All right, let me know. The rest of you guys, Streamlabs in. Kind of thought this was going to be a more popular prompt, but none of y'all. I mean, it's the least amount of people we've had watching the show in years, and the least amount of super chats we've had, or Streamlabs that we've had all year. So, wow. Thought you guys would like this one. Sometimes I feel like I know you guys, and then sometimes I feel like I don't know you guys at all. I wonder where we went south on this one. Maybe you all just want to talk about more current things going on. I can do that. Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Nijri, the person whose name I can't pronounce, come back for Hocus Pocus 2. I guess this was something that we had already speculated, something that we thought was going to take place, but now we know that it is going to be happening. And that just makes me excited. It makes anybody who is a Hocus Pocus fan excited. Anybody who loves these classic horror movies, not horror movies, Halloween movies, but don't love super scary movies, because most of the Halloween movies that we have to sit down and watch, or that we want to sit down and watch, are slasher, cut your eyes out, screaming, jump scare, hiding in your sweatshirt, can't see through your hands, whatever it is. But Pink Sweets, clack it. Yeah, they're clack it movies, this we know. But this is Hocus Pocus is a movie kind of for everyone. It's got enough spooky in it that the spooky people like it. It's got that nostalgic feel to it. It's got to talk about stacked cast. It's got a stacked ass cast. And I just think that they did a really great job with it. When we heard that there was going to be a Hocus Pocus 2, if these 3 women had not been coming back, that would have been a huge mistake and bummer. And so I'm really excited for this. Who loves Hocus Pocus? Who's excited for Hocus Pocus 2? And who would have been incredibly bummed had these 3 women not been coming back for it? I think probably most of us. Clack it, clack it, clack it. Y'all want to talk about something shitty? Because I guess you didn't want to talk about the fun things. So maybe we'll talk about something fucking shitty. Before we do that, though, there are a couple more Streamlabs that rolled through. Star Gonzalez put in a really good one in here. Star, you are the light of my life. Thank you for always sharing your thoughts and showing support. This is a really good one because I feel like a lot of these comedies typically get overlooked, but when you're talking about a movie of this size, it's hard to, because these people tend to stick together, and this is the one that I think has the most of them of any of these types of movies, and that is This Is the End. This is the End. Obviously, with all the stuff going on with James Franco, I'm not saying that he adds to the movie, but he's a very good performer. Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, who I got to interview for Collider Live, one of my favorite people that I got to talk to there. Danny McBride, Jonah Hill, Emma Watson, Michael Cera, Craig Robinson. Just a huge, huge cast. And there are deeper cuts that had smaller moments in the movie too. But if you go into the entire list, wow, I don't even remember all this. Rihanna, Channing Tatum, Mindy Kaling, Paul Rudd, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, I never know that one either. Aziz Ansari, Kevin Hart, Jason Segel, Nick Carter. Wow, what's going on with the Carter situation now? All the Backstreet Boys were in it. AJ, Brian. Damn. It's a big ass fucking cast. It's a really good one. I like that Star, and I do this too. The way that Star put in her Streamlabs is she said, "This is the end?" ? Like, does this count as part of the prompt? Star, damn fucking right it counts as part of the prompt. You slay, baby. You don't have to question mark. You should exclamation point. Boo. Garth Harkness McMurray in the Streamlabs says, The Thin Red Line, good one, with Sean Penn, Adrian Brody. When did we just hear that Adrian Brody is going to be in? And I was like, whoa, where the fuck's Adrian Brody been? We just heard something. George Clooney, John Cusack, Woody Harrelson, Jared Leto, John C. Reilly, John Travolta. You like a lot of these like big dude casts, Garth, it seems like, which is not that there's anything wrong with that, but just a lot of these tons and tons of fucking dudes that are big ass famous dudes. There are a lot of movies like that. Matthew Gold in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/RoxyStripes says my list has Endgame, Furious 7, and Any Given Sunday, and Expandables 3 on it. What is Furious 7? Do I know that? I'm sorry that if I'm being stupid right now. Furious 7. Furious 7, like Fast and the Furious 7. That's what that movie was called? Fucking forgot. They get confusing when it's F9, Fast and the Furious, like whatever, Furious 7. Yeah, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, The Rock, Jason Statham, not Hollywood's nicest person, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese, Luda. Every time I say Luda's name, I gotta say it like that. Kurt Russell, the girl from Game of Thrones, Natalie Emmanuel, Gal Gadot, who ended up being a fucking huge star. Yeah, a lot of people in that movie. Good picks, Matthew Gold. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate you. Anybody else who has them throughout the rest of the show, make sure you send them in. Paul3JP says best cast, not necessarily best movie, is Grown Ups. All right, I gotta look this up. We haven't even talked about the animation. A lot of animation casts have the best cast of all time because they just need their voices. Grown Ups has got Adam Sandler, Salma Hayek, Kevin James, Chris Rock, David Spade, Rob Schneider, Maya Rudolph, Steve Buscemi, Tim Meadows. Damn. Jamie Chung. This is a stacked ass cast. I feel like I might have seen this movie in college. I can't really remember. They're at like a theme park situation after a high school basketball coach passes away. 5 good friends and former teammates reunite for 4th of July weekend. I think I saw it at some point. I don't remember it well, but y'all know. And Adam Sandler, I trust. I would do anything to watch him in something. Hitman Hudson says, OMG, the cast of Knocked Up is so stacked. I forgot about that movie. Yeah, that's a really good one too, Hitman, for sure. Jake Yakoveta says, just watch some interview intros, and it's Catherine Najimy. Catherine Najimy. Yeah, okay. I feel like I'm still saying it weird. But hopefully I'm saying it right. I don't know. Catherine Najimy. I feel like it's Najimy, but you're saying it's Najimy. All right. Maybe I'm doing that right. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. And Jake we trust, though. And a lot of people we trust. Trust is a good thing. Except when it comes to siblings sometimes. Where am I transitioning this to? Yeah, that's right. Chris Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo. Oh. All right. This is what's going on. This is what's up. Chris Cuomo, who you guys know, CNN, was helping Andrew Cuomo, who you guys know has some misconduct allegations against him on his strategy calls because they are brothers. My favorite tweet about this situation so far, and this is why the internet is just so psychotic. This girl, Ashley Feinberg, tweeted out, lots of misinformation out there. So just to be clear, Chris Cuomo is Andrew Cuomo's son. And then said, a lot of people in their replies telling them on themselves and getting livid at me for stating facts. Sorry, this doesn't fit your narrative. Then I was like, wait, I thought they were brothers. Son? No fucking way. And then I looked it up and they are brothers. They are 13 years apart. And I don't know if this is a weird conspiracy theory of hers or what, but this is a verified fucking account. And I was like, wow, misinformation is the wildest thing. And the way information travels is so fucking confusing. I'm not even going to address that. But for the best of our knowledge, these are brothers. And this is a huge, huge breach of contract for Chris Cuomo, considering he is with CNN. And CNN is apparently not doing jack shit about it. This is a tweet coming from Josh Dawsey, who said, CNN anchor Chris Cuomo took part in a series of strategy calls with his brother and his brother's staff on how the governor should respond to misconduct allegations. Network says he shouldn't have participated and won't going forward. Megyn Kelly, who I'm sure often if you're watching this show, you're not on the same side as, but interesting to hear what you had to say for this, said, why does CNN think it's no big deal that Chris Cuomo strategized against at least 7 women publicly accusing the New York's governor of sexual harassment and assault? How would you feel if you were a female staffer on his team? What mattered wasn't the truth. It was protecting the family, period. Now, I might not always agree with Megyn Kelly, but in this particular tweet, I do feel like she does have obviously a lot of knowledge in this area, experience in this area, unfortunately. And that is, I hear her and I hear what people are saying. Chris Cuomo is somebody that that people trust to give them the news. and to be a voice of the people, and especially with CNN being as liberal as they are typically, which is not extremely, but it's more so than conservative. I think that Chris Cuomo is supposed to be this guy that people can trust. And when all this is happening with his brother, the way it looked like was he was distancing himself. But I have a hard time with this in general because, like, as you guys know, I'm incredibly close with my siblings. And here's what I know for absolute sure. Neither of my siblings would ever find themselves in this situation where 7 people were accusing them of what Andrew Cuomo is being accused of. But I also know that, are we really thinking as a society that there's no communication going on between these brothers? I mean, in what world are we thinking that there's no communication going on? And is that right? No, it's not fucking right. Also, should CNN stand for this? No, they shouldn't, because I'm sure this is breaching his contract. But that doesn't look good for them, or they think that it's going to make it a bigger deal. It's a really messy, difficult situation, I'm sure. But just kind of ew all around. Ginger Gano tweeted and said, CNN anchor Chris Cuomo advised his brother, disgraced New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, on how to respond to sexual harassment allegations. Why isn't a committee formed to investigate the Cuomo family? Rather, Democrats are very busy investigating the Trump Foundation and June 6th hypocrites. This is the kind of thing that happens after things like this, where we give ammo to people who already don't feel good about the quote unquote other side. And I see that tweet and I'm like, well, of course the Trump Foundation and January 6th need to be investigated, but I don't disagree that things like this should be looked at as well. Yeah. So it's just kind of like wish this did not fucking happen. But the second that the allegations came out, if it's his brother, what are we thinking? He's not showing up to family gatherings, like that he's not giving any advice. There's just probably no world, especially if they're close, which I guess I don't know that they are, but it seems like they might be. Gross. Sips tea. And CNN shouldn't be okay with this. They shouldn't be okay with this, but they seemingly just are. So they said it's not going to happen again. Do we trust that? What? He's going to be banned? He's not going to go to Thanksgiving? What do you guys think about this story? Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Let me know what you think should happen once they found out that Chris Cuomo had been a part of these strategy meetings. And what do you think about the situation in general? Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Going back into the Streamlabs. Let's see. JB says Steel Magnolias and Waiting to Exhale for great casts, throwing the ladies a bone. I appreciate that. We'll take it. One for the ladies. Garth Harkness McMurray says, okay, fine. Those war movies were stacked with men. Totally. Garth, it's okay. I'm not calling you out. How about Little Women with Winona Ryder, Kirsten Dunst, Claire Danes, Samantha Mathis, Susan Sarandon, Trini Alvarado, Gabrielle Byrne, Christian Bale, Eric Stoltz, Donald Logue, etc. Sorry, with the names, it's really hard on Streamlabs. It does this fucking thing. Listen, if you love that cast, you love that cast, but it's okay to whatever cast you like. I wasn't calling you out. I'm just saying, I'm just noticing a pattern that you like this certain kind of movie, which I get. They make a lot of those. A lot. I like it a lot. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. If you have any thoughts about best movie casts, about the Andrew Cuomo, Chris Cuomo situation, about the fake news of the brothers versus the fathers situation, whatever the fuck that is, about Bette Midler, SJP, and Kathy Jimmy for being back for Hocus Pocus 2. As we get to our last thing that I wanted to briefly talk about before we get out of here, and I will be back on OSA tomorrow, Only Stupid Answers, and live at the Roxy, because I love you guys a lot. Even when we're hurting, especially when we're hurting. No, do I love you guys especially when we're hurting? No, I love you guys even when we're hurting. I love you guys especially in all the ways. I love you especially when we're happy, especially when we're hurting. I think it's actually probably not good to love people especially when they're hurting. Show them love more than maybe, but you don't want to love people especially when they're hurting. I know that I just went on a weird tangent. It is what it is. let's talk about this hashtag mental health action day. This is kind of a cool day that I didn't realize existed because I know about Mental Health Awareness Day and I know about all the different practices that we've been trying to practice for mental health and talking about it and whatnot. But this is kind of a cool thing that I saw trending on my Twitter this morning. And I was like, wow, a lot of things don't deserve a day or I think are silly for a day. You know, it'll be like National Margarita with a Watermelon Twist Day. And I'm like, how the fuck did that thing get a day? Or like National let us show Honey and Pooh Bear Day, what the fuck ever. And I'm like, what the fuck is this day? But then I saw this and I was like, oh, this is really cool. It's national, or not even national. It's just Mental Health Action Day. And why I really like this is because of the action part of it. Because I think a lot of us forget that when it comes to our mental health, we are able to take physical action. And action can improve your mental health. And so when you think about the word action, you feel, or at least I feel, powerful because I feel like I am able to do something. What I hate is being helpless, not being able to take any action, not being able to express myself or being able to do anything and just having to sit in despair or depression or anything. So I really like anything that has action in it because I know if I can act, if I can take action, then I can do something. And I don't mean action as in it's always physical. Like, even though I've talked to you guys about how important it is to move if you can, if you are able-bodied, to work out and to even go for a walk or do anything to change up the pace or get out of the place that you're in or whatever it is. That kind of action is important, but there's other kinds of action as well where you take action. You know, if you need to hire or go see a therapist, that's action towards something. If you need to talk to a loved one or you need to solve a problem, that's taking action. So I love anything that has to do with action. And so I really appreciated that this was trending today. And then I also started looking for some things because, as you guys know, I'm always looking for new tips, tricks, advice. And I found this slide that I thought was really beautiful. It was from Mental Health PH is their Twitter handle. And they said, use inclusive language. And I think that I do this naturally, and a lot of you guys do this naturally, but I just think it's a really nice tip for anybody that you know who might be struggling with their mental health and you're talking to them about it, because I know a lot of you guys will Zoom together or will talk to me or we'll do every day on this show or whatever. And I think that this is a really great tip. It says, use inclusive language. And it says, every part of a family is valuable. You don't have to exclude your family members who are experiencing mental health struggles. And when we say family, we know here it could be your found family, so us. So you don't have to exclude your family members who are experiencing mental health struggles. You can say words like, we can journey with it together, or you are not alone in this fight, or we are always here for you. I've always really appreciated any time that I am overwhelmed, stressed out, depressed, struggling, when people use inclusive language like we, because it does make you feel less alone. And I think this was a great tip, because anytime that my friends are feeling something, you know, whether it's that they're feeling overwhelmed or scared or stressed or helpless, if you make it feel like you're in this with them and you're not just making it feel like this, you're actually in this with them, then it doesn't feel as daunting or as overwhelming or as all consuming. And I think that for a lot of us who feel extreme loneliness because A, we're in a global pandemic, or B, we've just felt this way for years because we either don't have a partner or somebody else who's just like fully and completely got our back at all times or anything like that, or we live 3,000 miles away from our family, or we've gone through a divorce or a breakup or a death of a loved one or of your person or whatever it is. A lot of us feel 1,000% alone, even when we're not. And using inclusive language can really make other people feel safer and more okay. And so I like this tip. I think it's really good. And I think that for those of us already using it, continue to. And for those of us who haven't, maybe to start using inclusive language with people you know who are particularly struggling, or to tell the people who are helping you that this is the kind of language that you like to be spoken to with. So Mental Health Action Day, all about taking action. And if you guys have any tips, if you're watching this live or after the fact, or anything that you guys do to take action that you feel like really help for you or when your loved ones are struggling, please let me know in the chat, in the comments afterwards, in the Streamlabs, and in the super chat, as we are getting out of here relatively soon. But it is always so, it's the essential part of our show. It's the core part of this show that we talk about what we can do to take action to better our mental health. And so I want to hear from you guys, because I know that you guys know as well, if not better than I do a lot of the times, on what it is to heal and move forward and control our mental health. And even though if you don't have full and complete control over it, to help it in any kind of way. So that. All right, we are going to be getting out of here. So thank you guys so much for joining me live at the Roxy on this Thursday, May 20th. Cannot believe how close we are to June. These months are continuing to fly the fuck by. Thank gosh I have you guys here for me and with me, because we are not alone. We are rock stars and we are world friends. And that's why we're here together. Seeing a lot of you guys in the chat talking about the struggles, and I fucking feel you. Brandy says I struggle every day, but I don't tell everyone all the time because I don't want to be a downer. I know that feeling, dude. Sometimes, like, I remember I was really having a hard one the other day, and then, like, I just couldn't hide it anymore. And then I was, like, apologizing to Steph because I was with her, and I was just like, I'm sorry. I feel really bad because I know being somebody's friend who is, like, down can be really hard, and it's better to, like, be fun all the time so that you want to be my friend more. And she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I love being your friend, and I'm sorry that you're going through this. And it's just a reminder that even though we feel like that, Brandy, sometimes like a nuisance or you don't want to be a downer, that other people don't look at it that way. So, I think that sharing is important and that people love you. Garth says, life is tough, but keep on keeping on. Yeah. And life is also beautiful sometimes. So life's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys, everybody, for joining the show today. Pink Sweets, Matt Link, Garth McMurray, Joseph Ashley, Silu Bonino, Manny Gonzalez, Rob Fishback, Jake Yacovetta, Michelle O'Rourke, Atai Berman, Andrew Thomas, the Pink Sweets, Stefan Zubel. Just trying to scroll through to get as many of you guys. DK, Ambient Co, Moas, Matt Munoz. I appreciate all of you guys. Much love to every single one of you guys. And I hope that you are able to take action towards bettering your mental health today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Nadine Alamendi, thank you. Or Meddi, thank you for saying something. I appreciate all you guys. Much love to everybody. Check your internet by blowing on it. Put down the toilet seat and lid. We don't want those flumes. Make sure that you make your bed if you haven't already. Hopefully you have. Brett Miles, Jonathan, the rest of the cops who killed Breonna Taylor, all three of them for killing Breonna Taylor. Don't trend with the Holocaust. I was tweeting today about some horrific fucking stuff that I saw going down on CNN, like I told you guys about. One more Streamlabs coming in from Glenn Caesar. Said, Roxy, you said Pooh Bear. I heard one of my nicknames, and now I'm thinking about getting honey again. Oh, the craving. Damn it. Honey's fucking great. Now I'm thinking about having either salted french fries covered in honey or graham crackers. Oh my God, I love graham crackers covered in honey, graham crackers, and grape jelly. Yeah, grape jelly is my favorite jelly too. With peanut butter, PB&J. That sounds good. All right, on that note, much love to all of you guys. Appreciate you. And I'll see you tomorrow on Only Stupid Answers. And if not, I'll see you right here live at the Roxy.